Chapter 1. The man woke up, dazed and not knowing exactly where he was. The flies buzzed around him and heard strange insect sounds he was unfamiliar with. When he looked up, he could not see the sky, just a faint penetration of light from above. At this time, he was now sure he was outside, on the ground in a huge jungle. Now, Magigo was really scared, because it was dangerous to be out there alone. Magigo was a highly respected farmer in his small village of Osis, in the western tropical region of Africa. Of course, there were many such villages, scattered kilometers from each other, but Osis was uniquely located and with special people. It was a village on the mountain top, with fine streams flowing down the sides of the mountain, which made Osis thrive all year round without the fear of famine as suffered by neighboring towns and villages. They were self-sufficient and the people worked very hard, even though they were very few in population, about 1,000 to be precise. The people were also unique. They were famously known as being gifted as clairvoyants and future seers. The amount of such persons in Osis is what made them the golden pearl in the middle of nowhere. They were acclaimed to be able to see future happenings and also able to take precautionary measures to prevent impending disasters. The chief priest would have to confirm any act of clairvoyance because they were also wary of misjudged visions by some egocentric few in their midst, especially Aruni, the self-proclaimed greatest hunter of both the living and the spiritual. He lets everyone know this at every opportunity he gets. "I have a special gift," he would say, "a gift that is not like any other. I see the living and I see the dead. I even see the angry souls who left when they weren't ready." He brags about this everywhere, whether in the market square or at Obosi, the king's palace. He was almost never afraid of his proclamations, especially because of who his father was. His father was one of the grandsons of the man they call the Epa Ogbeni, the elephant slayer. His great-granddad liberated the village from a set of wild, menacing killer elephants that threatened Osis and her people for more than 10 years. Legend had it that he disappeared into thin air and followed the elephants to their nests and slayed them one after the other. So, since then, anyone who had any family connection to Epa Ogbeni was almost protected and invisible to even the grave consequences of contravening the laws of the land. Magigo has a loving family of 4, which includes his wife and 2 children, Ekisi and Kanel. His wife, Etire, supports him by helping with the work in the farm. She tends to the young food crops like the yams, cassavas, plantains, and tomatoes. She made sure she weeds around them regularly to prevent them from being suffocated while still young. His husband does the heavier chores like digging the holes for planting both the yams, cassavas, and planting the plantains. The children would do the little they could whenever they came back from school and fetch water from the stream when the house needed some. These were the traditional roles of the family members. This was about the same in every household in Osis village. Magigo was a man known for his profound thoughts. He would often drift away for minutes on end and go into his stretches of trances. What he heard or saw sometimes were so worrying that he would refuse to share with his family for the fear that either they would not understand meaning or think that he had gone mad. The latter could be serious and tarnishing to his image. He did not want to scare his family. He told himself several times that he would let them know at the right time. He once fell into a trance where the heavens above was totally blood red and the sun was green in the middle of the day. He heard voices he couldn't explain or understand the meaning of. In his mind, he knew it could only mean just one thing, which was a bad omen for an impending bad occurrence. Even with all these experiences, he was a tranquil man on the inside. He always seemed to have no worries at all. That gave his family, especially his wife, the strength she needed to keep going on a daily basis. They weren't rich at all. In fact, they were below average using the village standard measurement of wealth. They had a farmland that barely was sufficient to feed the family and a few goats and hens in the yard. He worked hard and went to the farm even on days designated as spiritual days at Oasis. He had to because he needed to feed his family. On one such day, he took his hoe and cutlass and headed for the farm at the early hours of the morning before sunrise. He promised Etire that he would be back home before the other villagers began to wake up. He hurried along the rough, winding footpath, chewing aggressively on the chewing stick his wife had handed him. As he walked briskly, he tripped on a stone and fell to the ground. Immediately, he felt a drowsiness that confused his state of consciousness. He couldn't ascertain if he was unconscious or awake. A voice came to his ears with an unusual clarity to it. It has never been this clear. It said, "You will have to go on a journey I will send you. The fate of the land is in your hands," it said. It was a calm but firm voice. "What journey?" he asked. He had never left his village in a very long time. The last time he did was when he was a boy and went with his father to the village of Gatoka to sell the remaining leopard skin they had from previous kills. This was a highly valued commodity over there then, as it still is today. You would have to go to the edge of the earth and retrieve the plant of life I will show to you.